Second video on the air conditioning on this Prius C 2017. We're about to charge it up. So I have the refrigerant hooked up. I still have one vacuum line hooked up. This is what I like about a 4-port. You can be pulling vacuum, and you can even vacuum out your refrigerant line all the way up to the time that you're going to perform your charge and release your vacuum. You can keep your vacuum open through your port coming down your high side that I'm going to throw liquid in. My suction side is off, and as soon as I open this, refrigerant flows. But first you have to turn off the vacuum, otherwise you'll get a big messy surprise. And believe me, I know. So we got the zeroed out here. We're going to test our gauge, see that it always reads the same every time. It just went up in weight. We proved that it can measure up, and we take this back off, and we proved it could go back down. We now know our scale's operating. There's another scale who I do like, and I like the company, but they have an issue sometimes with it zeroing out on you and stop working while you're in the middle of your charge. What is really BS. You guys know who I'm talking about. That's why I use you as a backup and not my main scale anymore. Especially if you're dealing on small charges that are only 4 ounces, then you definitely don't want a scale turning off when it only takes 10-15 seconds to fill a system up and the scale goes into zeroing while you're filling. No, that doesn't fly. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna get to the point to recharge. Let's turn off the vacuum. Okay, vacuum's off, suction side's off, liquid side's open. We're at, oh, my foot hit here. Now this is another problem. You really got to watch. They're really sensitive. All I did was bump this, and because this was laying on that, it messed up the zeroing. So let's zero it out again. It's zero. We want roughly 450 grams, plus or minus 20 grams. So you're gonna see it turn on as soon as I open. Watch the seconds and how long it takes. 1, 2, open, and it is flowing. This is going down liquid, down the high side. And it's going, and it's going. Count how many seconds this takes. I'm throttling it back. I'm starting to choke it down now. There we go. I'm choked off. I'm completely closed. Bingo. That's it. Did you see how many seconds that takes? Nobody should have to run an engine and get it to suck in or anything like that. If you're following all the rules and all the gas laws and you know how to use them to your advantage, it only takes seconds to fill up a system. Even if it's a 4 or 5 pound system, 2 minutes at the very most would be the longest it would take to fill up an automotive system, with especially 134 with these very large ports on the cores. The cores inside here, in commercial refrigeration, you got to remove the cores to get a big hole. But the flow size diameter of the valve cores, HVAC guys don't know about this, refrigeration guys don't know, but in automotive, on the 134 fittings, the core size diameter is so large, you don't really have to remove the cores to get better flow. You actually get better flow out of these not removed than a commercial or residential removed, or about the same. If you removed the cores, you would even get better flow. But you know, the systems are so small, we're talking around a pound. Doesn't pay for removing them. I would like to, just to be kind of anal about it, but okay, let's go on from here. So let's close off our high side. Okay, high side's closed off. Let's start the vehicle up. Let's kill this vacuum. Yank on my plug. Okay, let's start this puppy up. And hey, where's my keys? There's my keys. Good, battery's still good. Let's get some fan going on here. Let's get some temperature going down. Let's get it into fresh air mode. Let's turn on the AC. Boom, AC on. High side 73 psi, 72 psi. And let's take the last of the refrigerant out of our, this is off, so there's just some refrigerant trapped in the hose. And let's suck it on down the low side. There it goes. It's only the refrigerant that was inside this line right here is now out of there. It flashed as soon as I opened this. It lowered the pressure on the hose, and that solid core of liquid started flashing off to nothing but bubbly vapor and semi-liquid. And as it came down here and hit the valve and came out the other side, it's basically a vapor dumping in right before the compressor. It's not a solid liquid by the time it got there. Okay, so there we go. Now we got 93 on the high side. Yeah, that little 1 ounce of refrigerant makes a huge difference on the high side. On the small little systems. This is why the guys who go by the can, just being 1 ounce off makes a big difference. Being 2 ounces off is pretty detrimental. Being 3 ounces off over on the high side shuts down the system at 420 psi and it goes into shutdown. And I've actually had that documented on video in one of my videos a long time ago, where just relieving the over filled system by the length of refrigerant going into the hoses was able to take it off a 420 shutdown mode all the way into operation just by the refrigerant in the lines on one of these small systems. And that's what gets caused by the whack-off guys who use the little jerk-off cans, blowing their load of refrigerant into a system out of a can, always screwing up customers' cars. That's it. So we can see we're dropping on pressure. Make sure my gauges didn't fall out from the vibration of the car. All my gauges are still in. Okay, we're good. And our pressure's still dropping, and our temperatures are still dropping. I've got the temperature of the air I'm taking right here because the inlet of the air is based right about here, so that's that temperature of 64 degrees. Right now coming out the dash we're 49. And I had somebody comment on a thing, oh, rev up the engine so you can take down refrigerant faster. You could rev this engine all you want, and there's no physical place to rev this engine. You have to have somebody inside because this is all electronic. There is no cable between the inside foot pedal and the outside the engine. Everything is fly-by-wire, including the driving. There is no physical connection between your steering wheel and the steering column down here. The rack is all electric, basically electrical signals. So when you do this, there is no physical connection. It is strictly drive-by-wire. These old timers with the gas jerking off the can into the thing just don't comprehend that the engine speed has nothing to do with the compressor speed. Totally isolated from each other. Alright guys, that's it for now. I think I'll close up this video, and I gotta get running. I got my things telling me that I gotta go. See you guys. And that's it, a quickie, just a little information. Left out tons of information, but you got a good overview.